what kind of game might lurk behind the title Trinity, Souls of Zill? Almost any kind at all, given that it's the least descriptive title of all time. I mean, we've played it for over 20 hours and still haven't a damned clue what Zill even means. But of course it isn't any kind of game at all. It's a Japanese flavoured RPG, and one that features 3 playable heroes, a quest for revenge, and all types of upgrades, unlockables and unpronounceables, but still manages, gasp shock, not to be rubbish. You play as Arius, a pointy-eared half-elf, learning his trade in the Liberdam gladiatorial arena under the tutelage of cool uncle-style mentor Darkwyn. But secretly, Arius has a reason for getting mega hard, other than murdering loads and loads of lobsters. Really, he's the half-breed grandson of evil King Balor, who murdered Arius' elf-loving pa after hearing some prophecy about how he'd be killed by his own offspring, apparently missing the part in every story ever when trying to stop prophecies actually makes them happen. This leads Arius out into the wider world of adventuring, where he pairs up with giant flesh tank Dagda and the mysterious Darkness lady Selene. Together the trio gad about defeating monsters, exploring cities and inching closer to sticking Arius' grandpa in his stupid face. Trinity Souls of Zill is a mega conventional role player, mixing third-person action with stats-heavy resource management. Once Arius joins the Adventurers Guild, he spends most of his time completing quests posted on the board, generally a mix of monster hunting, escort missions and fetch and carrying. Really, they all boil down to the same thing, heading into tight corridor dungeon areas and grinding through waves of goblins, lizard men and floating eyeballs, none of which are more terrifying than these giant purple wang fungi. These side quests load up Arius with XP and dollar to prepare him for the all-important story missions, which reveal details of his background and those of his companions and nudge him on to his fateful final encounter. Given that combat is exactly the dry, straightforward button-humping procession it looks, it's a miracle that Trinity isn't a disaster, but somehow it really isn't. The item, skill and equipment menus are easy to navigate, and there's just enough storytelling meat to allow the super Moorish grind and upgrade cycle to sink its teeth into you. Trinity's fantasy world is sketchily drawn. Characters and environment are basic, with a cheap watercolour filter applied to several areas to hide the clunkiness of the visuals. Clearly all the graphics pennies were spent at the cutscene shop, and even these aren't exactly class-leading. In other words, we're a long way from Mass Effect 2 or even its fugly cousin Dragon Age Origins. We're in a place that's filled up with scrolling text dialogue scenes, uncustomisable heroes and narrow drab environments. Most of the towns and cities you visit aren't even real, they're just menu screens on a map. Yes, there is an old school charm to it all, and it's easy to fill in the gaps with your imagination, but Trinity is no kind of looker. Trinity Souls of Zill is from the past. Its mechanics are basic, it's visually unsophisticated, and when stacked up against PS3's premier RPGs, it looks like a dog in a wedding dress. But for all that, given a little patience, a little love, and a lot of drawing cutscenes with our minds, we happily lost several days to it. It's appealingly simple, designed along strong, one more mission principles, which make it inexplicably difficult to put down. It's a mysterious, we can't quite believe we're saying this either, 7 from us.